Some wild updates from over the weekend. There was a rally attempt to gather support in Austin Metcalf's name, which went as badly as I expected. Multiple arrests. The whole thing was just a mess. Then his dad coming out and really disappointing a lot of people. And in fact, basically his dad, Austin's dad, really appears to be kind of a ideologically trapped leftist who is still kind of pushing his leftist ideology even in this particular case, which people are upset about. And he came out and basically attacked the people that were hosting this rally. The whole thing is sad. That's an odd thing to do. His father, Jeff, brought a large African-American bodyguard. They say to keep him in line and stifle any white person who mentions that it was racially motivated. I don't care if he's a dork leftist. That doesn't make it okay. That doesn't make him, his son probably didn't have his dad's politics. Yeah, I know. I've seen the posts going around the internet. Oh, Austin Metcalf's dad posted a Kwanzaa thing on Facebook. Nothing. And you have Jeff Metcalf had a humiliation apology tour on the media where he sympathizes with the guy who took his son's life.
Real quick, fam. The other day I saw something online about a rally or a protest or something for or against Karmelo Anthony. And one of the leaders there was this white supremacist named Jake Lang. Now, this violent thug was basically pardoned by Individual 47 for his acts that occurred on January the 6th. But I want you to go back a little bit, a few years ago, to the Bolton John's case. His brother, Brant John, I believe, he publicly forgave Amber Geiger after she was convicted of deleting Bolton. Now, this act of forgiveness was held as some sort of powerful testimony of Christian beliefs about mercy and redemption. And Brant's forgiveness was also widely celebrated. It was applauded by many conservative voices as a demonstration of strength and grace under pressure.
A powerful scene in a Texas courtroom. A man whose brother was shot to death by a Dallas police officer forgiving his brother's killer and embracing her.
If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you. And I know if you go to God and ask him, he will forgive you. And I don't think anyone could say it. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not even bad for my family. But I love you just like anyone else. And I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die just like my brother did, but I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do. And the best would be give your life to Christ. I'm not gonna say anything else. I think giving your life to Christ would be the best thing that both of them would want you to do. Again, I love you as a person. And I don't wish anything bad on you. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
And And the judge also hugging that former officer, Amber Geiger, and giving her a Bible after sentencing her to 10 years behind bars for killing a neighbor, an unarmed black man, in his own apartment. She says she mistook it for her apartment and thought he was an intruder. Let's bring in Jonathan Morris, Fox News contributor, theologian, and ethicist, because you can help us think about this going forward in our own lives, right? The amount of poise and dignity from that 18-year-old young man was really incredible.
Yeah, and the poise and dignity came forth from a heart that had already given up a just cause that he had against this police officer. Let me just say that again, a just cause. Because we make all sorts of excuses in our personal lives why we won't forgive somebody. And it usually has to do with the fact that the other person did something wrong, objectively wrong. But forgiveness is saying, even though I have a just cause against you, I'm going to give it up. Because God is the only one who is perfect. You know, Dana, as I was walking into the studio, a gentleman in the parking lot, I'm here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, visiting family, and a gentleman said, "What are you talking about on TV now?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to talk about the story of this guy who forgave the killer of his brother." And he said, that's what the world needs right now, and that's what we need in this very tense point in our country. And he said, "Didn't Jesus say something about that?" Like, he goes, "I don't really know, I don't remember, but the Bible said something about if you don't forgive, God won't forgive you. It's judge not lest you be judged." The consequence of doing something out of love is that it also helps you. But it's love that drives the decision. It's love for the other person. And the result is that both are winners. Somebody just wrote to me on Facebook when I posted that I was going to be on this afternoon, and she said, "My brother was killed in 2007, and I've never been able to forgive until now, watching this young man do it." So the winners, it's really a tie to see who wins. It's, first of all, the woman who received forgiveness, right, this police officer. Secondly, the guy who forgave, we know he's going to be in a lot better position right now. And third, it's all of us. We all win. And the difference between that winning and the opposite of just holding a grudge, anger eats away at our soul. It's our own soul and the soul of our nation.
But let me ask you this question, fam. When in the hell do you ever see a white survivor of a victim openly cry for, forgive, and beg for a hug from a convicted black deleter? Don't got that? Okay, I'll let you come back to that. I'll try another one. When in the hell do you ever see a white judge come down from the bench and offer a Bible with tears in their eyes and giving an intimate hug to a black convicted deleter of a white person? Okay, I'll do even one better. When in the hell do you ever see a white bailiff offer remorse and comfort to a newly convicted black deleter of a white person while on the job? You see, fam, this Christian religion has got our minds warped, so warped that we're playing an unfair game where we have to play by the rules of the white Jesus forgiveness concept while they are going straight up Yahweh against the Amalekites. No one respects a fool or someone who's unwilling to basically speak up for themselves and people who choose to be doormats. Now, if you believe in white Jesus, I'm not saying to not forgive Amber Geiger or any people who are out here neutralizing our black people. But none of these black people needed to let these folks know that they were forgiving Amber Geiger. They don't do it. They don't do it. And it's this sort of behavior that tells them how to treat us. I mean, all over the television screen, I saw it. Throughout white churches of America and on Fox News Channel, you could see white Christians praising this and talking about healing and mending when the young man offered the forgiveness. There was a whole lot of talk about forgiveness, love, temperance, and mercy when it came to the female white thug in the uniform, which they offer this kind of forgiveness to all whites that neutralize black people for some reason. However, this celebration also raises a lot of questions about the conditions under which forgiveness is recognized and revered. Because when it comes to black people, if we do something wrong, we are expected to embrace Old Testament fire and brimstone punishment and swift justice. You know, all I'm saying is these people are so deceitful and hypocritical, and it needed to be said. And I actually offer much respect to the father, because he didn't have to do what he's done or say what he said.
Americans, fight, 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 fight.
Hey Jeff, it's Jake Lang here.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
Jeff, first of all, my entire heart rests in your hands. I would be in my position, not even as somebody even knew your son, but somebody that shares the same understanding. I grew up as a 17-year-old young white man too, and I grew up in fear of my life around black people because they were killing and robbing people around me all the time. And I don't understand, as I was a father, you could sit idly by and not condemn the culture that killed your son. There is an epidemic problem in this country, and your voice could be one of the loudest voices in this country, but you've chosen to recoil out of fear and continue the suppression. Why will you not stand with me and with the rest of the people? We're not calling for racial divide. We're not calling for hatred. We're saying 350,000 attacks on white people by black people a year in this country is wrong. Why can't you stand that and say with that? Maybe you can. Would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices if he was still alive today.
Are you done?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, my turn to speak. You are part of the problem, my friend. You're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap. I do not condone anything you do. You do not have any...
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk. Of my son. Let me finish. I gave you your time. You take my son's face off your website. I am not associated with you.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir. You are creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness.
In history, this is the shift where white people will no longer...
Now, there are a lot of, resurfacing tweets. I've talked a little bit about these. His Kwanzaa tweet. To all who celebrate, happy Kwanzaa. Are we, as we celebrate the principles of unity, creativity, and community, let me extend my warmest wishes to your homes. May this festival, something, something, something. Again, I get why people are upset that he isn't more upset. And even I'm starting to question what's going on. I feel like he must have some sort of internal struggle here where, he's a lib and he wants to still appear woke